Hello and welcome! This video has been created to fulfill an academic requirement and is designed to provide educational content on globalization. We hope that you find the information presented in this video informative and useful for you. In this video, we will answer the following questions. First, how do we make globalization more just? Second is, how is the state affected by globalization, peace and security, state power and leaders' power? Third is, how is the nation affected by globalization? Fourth is, do these institutions or concepts remain relevant? Why or why not? Globalization is defined as the increase in the flow of goods, services, capital, people, and ideas across international boundaries. It's had numerous effects, both positive and negative, on business. Manfred B. Steger defines globalization as a multidimensional set of social processes that create, multiply, stretch, and intensify worldwide social interdependencies and exchanges while fostering the growth of a transnational imaginary.
Now, let's answer the first question. How do we make globalization more just? Globalization has led to significant economic growth and development worldwide. However, it has also caused social and economic inequalities, exploitation of labor, environmental degradation, and cultural imperialism. According to Barry Gill's book of Globalization and Politics of Resistance, to make globalization more just, these two steps can be taken. One is fair trade policies and two is strengthening social protection. Fair trade policies aim to promote fair trade practices, providing fair wages and decent working conditions for workers and sustainable development. These policies can promote economic growth and reduce poverty in developing countries. Globalization has led to the loss of traditional jobs, particularly in developing countries. Therefore, social protection measures such as raising the standard of living for people and society makes countries healthier, better educated, and makes their development more sustainable, inclusive, and resilient. And according to Globalization, Labor Rights and Economic Development by Xiufeng Lu and Xiaoying Liang, to make globalization more just, these three steps can be taken. One is environmental standards, two is protecting labor rights, and three is cultural diversity. The globalization of trade has led to environmental degradation, particularly in developing countries. To promote environmental sustainability, global environmental standards should be established and enforced across countries. Labor exploitation, particularly in developing countries, is a significant concern of globalization. Governments should implement and enforce laws that protects workers' rights, such as minimum wage laws, health and safety regulations, and collective bargaining rights. Globalization can lead to cultural imperialism, where dominant cultures overpower and eliminate other cultures. Therefore, policies that promote cultural diversity and the preservation of cultural heritage should be implemented.
The second question is, how is the state affected by the globalization? Peace and security, states and leaders' power. According to Globalization and Growth, in the 20th century of Nicholas Crofts, the impact of globalization on a state can be both positive and negative. On the positive side, globalization has created more opportunities for countries to engage in international trade, which can lead to a greater economic growth, job creation, and improved standards of living. On the negative side, globalization has led to an increase in the power of large multinational corporations, which can often exert a great deal of influence in government and their policies. In terms of peace and security, globalization has increased the interconnectedness of countries and regions, which can lead to increased economic and political cooperation. However, it can also make countries more vulnerable to security threats, as global networks of communication and transportation can facilitate the spread of terrorism and other forms of violence. In terms of state power and leaders' power, globalization has had both positive and negative effects. On the positive side, it has allowed countries to become more interconnected and to share resources, which can lead to more efficient and effective governance. On the negative side, globalization has increased the power of multinational corporations, which can often have more influence on government policies and actions than individual citizens.
The third question: how is the nation affected by globalization, especially its culture? According to Hilal Wani, on impact of globalization on world culture, globalization is often exclusively associated with worldwide economic integration and the emergence of borderless global market. However, globalization also involves sweeping changes on social, cultural, and political trains. One of the consequences is the transformation of traditional religions and belief systems. This means that as culture and societies become more interconnected, traditional religious practices and beliefs are more often altered or abandoned entirely. The passage suggests that this may lead to a loss of shared norms and social fabric. Another consequence of globalization is the emergence of consumerism, cyberculture, and changing work ethics and rhythms. These factors contribute to the disintegration of traditional social structure, which can lead to a sense of enemy, a feeling of alienation and disconnection from society.
However, here are some of the positive impacts of globalization on the cultures of different nations. Cultural exchange. Globalization has led to the exchange of cultural ideas, practices, and beliefs between different nations. This exchange has helped to enrich the cultural diversity of different nations and promote cultural understanding. Preservation of cultural heritage. Globalization has helped to promote the preservation of cultural heritage by creating awareness about the importance of cultural preservation. This has led to the preservation of cultural practices, traditions, and artifacts that might have otherwise been lost. Improved access to information. Globalization has improved access to information about different cultures, which has helped to promote cultural awareness and understanding. People are now able to learn about different cultures, beliefs, and practices through various media channels.
The last question: do these institutions or concepts, international or global institutions, remain relevant? The concept of globalization, which refers to the increasing interconnectedness and interdependence of nations and economies, continues to be relevant in many ways. However, its effects have been highly uneven, with some countries and groups benefiting greatly while others are left behind or exploited. So here are some examples of international or global institutions and concepts related to globalization, along with brief assessments of their current relevance. The number one is World Trade Organization, or also known as WTO. The WTO remains a significant institution in global trade, with its rules and regulations governing the majority of global commerce. However, its relevance has been challenged in recent years, with some criticizing its inability to address issues such as intellectual property rights, environmental concerns, and labor standards. Number 2 is International Monetary Fund, or also known as IMF. The IMF continues to play a key role in global finance, providing loans and other support to countries experiencing economic crises. However, its policies and actions that have also been criticized for exacerbating inequality and imposing austerity measures on developing countries. Overall, it is important to consider each institution or concept on its own merits and to assess its current relevance in light of the changing global landscape.
This is the end of our video presentation. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you found this informative and engaging. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And before we say goodbye, we have a dance presentation for all of you. Hope you like it!
Come and join me. We need globalization in life and society. Every industry improves economy with advanced technology. It's not colonization, I promise. Put your trust in me. Level playing field, that is what we stand for. So come join a better world. World is so much fun when we're free, equal, and one in heart. World is so much fun when we're free, equal, and one in heart. World is so much fun when there's freedom, unity, equality.